Well, rugby means a lot to me. It's always been part of what I've done. I started playing in the under-8 Ashgrove Emus in 1978, so it's a long time ago. I've been involved heavily in it ever since. Rugby to me it's really essentially about friends and fun. It's about teams and getting involved and striving to achieve something, or just being a fan and just following it and rolling with the punches of the players out on the field. Well, I remember we won, but I also remember I made a couple of mistakes, and in that game, certainly one led directly to an Argentinian try. The game was a bit closer against Argentina in 1991 than what we would have liked at the time, but we had a win and it set us off on the right foot for the World Cup. It gave us a good basis from which to move on and win the tournament. It was amazing, really, to have the opportunity to win the World Cup at such a young age, and really I was pinching myself a lot of it. A lot of my mates were in the pubs back here in Brisbane watching the tournament, and I'd get all these messages from them. So in some ways I was actually jealous of how much fun they were having in the pubs back in Brisbane, which sounds stupid, but it's funny how the mind of a 21-year-old works. But I also remember pinching myself a couple of times, and some moments are really clear, like running out on the field for the World Cup final and looking across the line and seeing Nick Farr-Jones, who was the captain, and he caught my eye just as I caught his, and he just gave me this big smile, and all nerves I had just disappeared. That moment when you realise you're out on the field about to play in a World Cup final, that history was going to be decided in this next 80 or so minutes, and you had a chance to be a part of that. Well, in 1995, we went over to the tournament as favourites. We were the defending champions. We'd had an undefeated season the year before with the Wallabies. So we went over there with great expectations of ourselves, but also everyone else on us. And right from the first game, it didn't go well for us. So the rugby was probably quite forgettable. But if you look at the scheme of things, that's the World Cup that everyone will remember more than any other, because of what was happening off the field. And the big subplot of that tournament was what was happening in South Africa, and that tournament brought a country together. It was a moment in history, not great as far as our rugby was concerned, but a moment in history that'll never be forgotten.